Hey everyone, it's 𝒉𝒆𝒍𒑑 again from Identity, and today I was going to go straight into the goal I had planned for this video, which was your early access readiness guide. But there's an article that just came out by Insider Gaming titled "Starfield is Bethesda's least buggiest game to date," says sources. So today's video I think you're going to want to stick around for, especially those PS5 review bombers and also others reluctant to try Starfield out. Anyways, if you're into builds, guides, gameplay, and insightful discussions, then my channel is perfect for you. So don't hesitate to like the video and subscribe if you're new here. Okay, let's not waste any more time because this issue that's discussed in the Insider Gaming website has been the focal point of every discussion about whether or not Starfield would be a buggy mess. Partly because of how huge the game is, but also due to the Fallout 76's disastrous era, which by the way wasn't even made by the same team responsible for Fallout 4 and Skyrim. But you know, guilt by association is a real phenomenon. And now with this information most likely being real and soon to be confirmed in a couple days, what reason could any of you skeptics have to justify not giving Starfield a try? I personally have no loyalties to any console. If a game console has something that piques my interest as much as Starfield does, best believe I'm gonna get that console just to play that game. Anyways, here's what the article says by Tom Henderson. He states that Starfield is Bethesda's least buggiest game to date. With Starfield in the hands of media creators and those fortunate enough to get the game early by other means, there's been one question looming over me for months. In the past, we've all been accustomed to and memed about the fact that Bethesda is known for its buggy games. But is Starfield going to break that cycle? Fortunately, I've been speaking to several people who've been playing the game for over a week now to get the answer. And it's me also. It's not just these people in these Insider Gaming articles or whatever articles. I have friends that got an early copy of the game and they told me pretty much the same thing. I'm not going to divulge any other information, but this is crazy, man. Our first public comment about Starfield being a polished game came from the journalist Tyler McVicker, who's currently under an embargo for the title. Despite being under the embargo, McVicker took to Discord to say, also 15 hours in and not a single bug. That's insane. Taking one person's comments at face value is never enough, so I reached out to my contacts to delve a little deeper. Speaking with several sources under the condition of anonymity who are currently under embargo and couldn't speak publicly about the game, McVicker's comment is the same sentiment given by everyone I've spoken to. 5 individuals who have a varying amount of time put in the game have all said that the amount of bugs they've experienced can be counted on one hand. In fact, most said 1 or 2 at most. This is actually unbelievable to me. I mean, I'll get into it later. Let me just finish reading this article. It's almost done. With everyone I spoke to having put dozens of hours into the game, in addition, it was also said that almost all the bugs that were found have already been listed to be fixed in the Starfield Day 1 patch. And this is what review codes are for. You know, these YouTubers who get review codes to play the game early. This is not only to provide more traction for the game, more marketing for the company, but it's also to give the devs feedback on what's wrong with it because they want it to be a smooth launch. And this, practice of giving people review codes wasn't really a phenomenon until YouTube became real big years ago, because most games weren't really digital. All games were hard copy. People would go to midnight releases and they weren't able to really give out early copies of the game unless you were really lucky. Now there's so many big YouTubers and so many influencers get thousands of views on YouTube. They get these review codes, and it's easier for games made by Bethesda or anybody who makes huge RPG games or huge games in general to get the feedback so they can have the smoothest launch possible. Now let's wrap this article up. In June, Microsoft Game Studios head Matt Booty took to a giant bomb stream to speak on Starfield bugs and said, working with Todd and the team, I see bug counts, and just by the numbers, if it shipped today, this would have the fewest bugs in any game ever shipped with. It's a bold statement, but from what we've been able to gather, it seems entirely accurate. But let's be clear, Starfield will have bugs. All games do. But a Bethesda game with as few bugs as possible sounds like a match made in heaven. Starfield officially launches in early access on Xbox Series X, S, and PC on August 1st, and launches on September 6th for those who don't have early access. Admittedly though, even with speaking with 5 individuals, it's still a small pool of opinions in the grand scheme of things. Public perception will always be different, but in my opinion, hearing the behind the scenes buzz and positivity of the game is a very strong, encouraging sign. Whether or not public opinion will be different remains to be seen. But hey, I guess we'll have to wait another 5 days or so. Actually 3, as a matter of fact. So like I said, this will most likely be confirmed. There's the least amount of bugs as possible once everything is out and everyone is playing. It's not hard to believe either. Every so often there comes errors of anomaly, all different kinds at different times and places. This particular one could be the start of a technological breakthrough which sees the end of games with lots of bugs. Maybe we've reached a point where some gaming companies have found the secret to seamlessly, flawlessly developed games. It was done when iPhones first came out, advancing the technology of smartphones and phones in general. What's stopping this from being one of those moments? Now that we know that Starfield is going to be almost bug-free, this raises the hype factor even more, as if it wasn't already. Now let's talk about what you can do to prepare. As we're gearing up for early access release, here are a few tips to ensure a smooth start. Global release times have been revealed on Twitter days ago, and surprisingly, many players don't know this, but you can pre-download the game to avoid any launch day delays. Man, I used to hate when a game came out that I was anticipating for so long, and when it finally releases, I have to wait for it to download when I've already been waiting so long. So pre-downloading it will get you playing as soon as it's ready. Next, make sure to familiarize yourself with the game's controls by checking out all tutorials and guides. We know that there will be no shortage of tutorials and guides on YouTube. Stay tuned for mine because I'm sure to have an ultimate starter guide. And Starfield's combat system is definitely a step up from any other game made by them in the past. I haven't got the opportunity to play it yet, but I've seen so many combat features I have never seen before. So make sure to take full advantage of learning everything so as to not miss out on any features the game comes out with, also to fully take in the experience. I'm going to be honest, there hasn't been a game quite like Starfield. Ever. And I know that some of you in the comments will say there's No Man's Sky, also Star Citizen, but trust me when I say that when Bethesda creates their version of a space odyssey RPG, it's truly something different. It's not easy for me to help you fully grasp just how much you can do in RPG games made by this company, but the veterans here know what I'm talking about. So I'll move on to the final tip of this guide before I go. And since Starfield will be so huge, there will be no doubt times where you get stuck trying to complete some side quest, kill an enemy, or just need some help in general, especially if you're a new player. You should familiarize yourself and join online communities to share strategies, insight, and experiences with fellow Starfield players. In the description of this video, I've included a link to both Starfield's official Discord and mine. Joining a Discord community for a game like Starfield offers players a chance to connect with fellow gamers who share their passion. It's a space to discuss gameplay, updates, and strategies. Players can stay informed about game news, seek help, share tips, and find groups for co-op play. Let's hope the modders add this feature. They can also discuss lore, participate in events, showcase their creations, and make friends. It's a way to enhance the gaming experience, engage with the community, and contribute the excitement surrounding the game. So with everything that I said, I'd love to know how you feel about it down below, especially the parts regarding there being a very minimal amount of bugs in Starfield. I think this is really amazing news. And it's great to know that so many people were banking on the game being a buggy mess when it's actually the opposite. I appreciate you for stopping through to hear what I have to say, as always. And if you're interested in discussions like these along with guides and gameplay, then don't hesitate to like the video and subscribe for more in the future. I'll see you in my next video. Be right out.